Talk about weirdness inspired by you. Here's a little episode of Folie, Deux. Hi. Oh, it's our first mini episode.
Should we call it that? Should we call it a mini episode? We want your feedback.
Yeah, maybe a little episode.
A little doo-doo.
A little doo-doo. What else could it be? I love, oops, I dood a little.
Yeah. For now, that's what this is.
Oops.
We dood a little.
We dood a little.
Welcome.
Good welcome to you.
I know. And happy morrow. And top of the morning.
And fair yonder good prince.
Yes, and tidings of all
blessings and
peace be with you.
And also with you.
Amen.
Goodbye.
See, it was really little.
And that's it. That was fun. It's just 20 more minutes of that.
Yeah. So buckle up, guys.
Buckle up. It's going to be bumpy for everyone involved.
Yeah. Eventually, we're going to start recording these with a glass of wine.
Oh, we really have to. Because we're already a little wacky enough. I think wine, just one glass, will take it to a whole new level.
And I figured something out, which I should have known all along. And the listeners may have already figured this out. So you know how I said we sound weirdly similar, and so we tried some things, like me wearing a rapey mustache and you wearing a tiara. I realized what's actually going on.
What?
We're the same person.
I think you're right.
I mean, we're running from one end of this table to the other. Or I am. Or you are. I don't know. But
whichever
it's
one it is doing it.
And I don't know how I do this thing where I talk over myself and interrupt.
But oh, do I do it so well.
I'm very motivated to piss off Josh. So I will do it.
I live for pissing off Josh.
I live for it even more.
I think I live for it the most.
So guys, are you afraid that maybe you're not really you? Or that everyone in your life is actually imaginary? I think there's actually a name for that. There's like a mental disorder where you start to believe that either the people around you don't exist or that they're all imposters.
Really?
Something happens to your brain.
Is that true?
Yeah, it really is.
Ooh,
I need to look up the name for it.
Yeah, please do. I'm going to look it up after we're done with this. That's so cool.
So it is cool. It's really cool when people lose their dang minds.
I am sorry to anybody that I just offended who may or may not live with that. It must be terrifying.
Or they may or may not exist. Yeah,
No.
they don't know. This is probably in your mind. What is real, guys? And then you think to yourself, why did I create this?
Yeah.
Of all things.
Of all the things. Why? I'm sorry if those sirens are super annoying.
They're coming for us. See?
Finally, they realize.
Speaking of paranoia, that's very Hitchcockian right there.
Maybe I have it and I don't know it.
I think you do. Wait, you're afraid that you're paranoid and you don't know it?
I'm afraid of a lot of things. I'm afraid of so many things. And speaking of, that's kind of the topic of this mini episode, or little doo-doo.
Yes. So we decided that we have so many great discussions with our doo-doo heads that we needed to have mini episodes just dedicated to the things that they tell us.
Yes. And so if you want to join in the conversation, join the Facebook group.
Yes, we want to hear what's wrong with you.
It's so refreshing. It makes me laugh every day. I love it. I love to know that there are people just as mad and crazy and crazier than I am.
Because the truth is, we are all insane.
Yeah.
And it's really, the craziest thing is that we walk around all day acting like we're normal. Because we're not.
No,
None of us are.
not so much.
And the insanity is the interesting stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So we got out there and we asked the doo-doo heads, what are their irrational fears? We've shared a little bit about ours, which are, for me, I'm going to say number one is Muppets. And it's such a strong fear that it really overshadowed. I couldn't even think of anything else that even came close to it. I came up with a few since then.
Mm-hmm.
And Melodies?
So I have quite a few. I am irrationally afraid of Riverdance, which we discussed in the last episode, main episode, in our
The official.
the official third episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riverdance. I'm also irrationally afraid of bridges. They terrify me. I don't like them. I don't like looking at them even.
Are you afraid? You don't like looking at them?
No, to see the Golden Gate Bridge, no desire whatsoever. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Oh my goodness. If you had to go over that bridge in Florida that I had to drive over.
Oh, I have gone over a giant bridge in Florida. I don't know if
it's horrifying.
same.
You feel like you're gonna drive off the end of the world, and people are speeding around you like lunatics.
No.
Occasionally you will see a car pulled over to the side, and the word is that that's a jumper.
Oh,
they have a whole web page dedicated to people who jump off this bridge.
No, I maybe would rather jump off it than to be on it.
I almost did, just so I didn't have to drive over it, and I love my life.
I could not be the person to drive, or I would genuinely probably either just pass out and the car would go crazy, or I would have a heart attack. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I know. I felt the closest that I've felt in a long time to a panic attack. I'm sorry, it looked like you just smelled your own hair.
I don't know. I think that's my security
to
blanket.
Calm yourself down. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. You guys don't know what I just did, but
it looked kind of like a mustache.
Put my hair over my mouth. It's fine. It's fine.
Maybe that helps.
I like softies. Anything soft is what I call a softie, and I like to put it over my mouth, and it comforts me. It's been that way since I was a baby.
That's the flip side to irrational fears, right?
Mm-hmm.
These irrational things that comfort us.
That's true.
There could be a whole thing about that.
Let's talk about that next.
I like to...
Oh, gosh.
I like to rub or sort of scratch, not like to the point of pain, but I like to scratch straws on my chest.
Straws?
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
It's very satisfying. I wasn't judging you, but you said that.
Or
in the
bookmarks when I'm reading a book. I'll just
I
poke
get that.
myself with it, just and like kind of scratching around.
I like the idea of taking it, sideways and that.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of that. I might have to try the straws, but I don't understand. I don't feel that as being satisfying, but I don't know yet.
Occasionally I'll like wait. I'll take it out of my drink and kind of wait for it to dry off, and then I'll just poke myself with it.
Okay.
I try not to do it in public.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's
probably
good.
Yeah. So guys, what do you like to do to comfort yourself?
Yes.
That's legal and safe
that we can
share.
talk about here. Yeah. I have one more irrational fear, and it is that that gravity will just quit on us one day, and that we'll all just start floating around all willy-nilly and like all through space.
Yeah. I think I read an article about how that some scientists are...
Are you making it up?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to see that look of terror.
Well, that's good.
Nobody's saying that's going to happen.
Good.
As far as I know.
If it is, nobody tell me, please. Okay?
So I'm afraid of being alone in public restrooms. Even if they're really nice ones, I'm afraid that somebody is going to burst out of a stall and attack me.
It is very scary thought. Yeah. I mean, people may consider it irrational because maybe like it's never happened, or
that doesn't mean it's not going to.
It doesn't mean it's not going to, and it is something that can happen. Like gravity just quitting one day, probably not going to happen.
Probably gonna happen, but
you think?
Yeah, but probably not for like another 10 years at least.
10?
Amy. Imagine if it happened right when someone was trying to attack you in a public restroom.
Ooh, that'd be the best.
Yeah.
I would be thankful then.
Yeah. It would be a blessing.
Yeah, and a curse.
Yeah.
A butt crack showing. I'm glad nobody's behind me.
I'm glad, but thank you for telling me.
You're welcome. Jeez Louise. So, should we read some of these wacky?
I want to hear what our listeners have to say.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's talk about one of my favorites that was, I liked that somebody lives in my attic. This girl in in particular, and I don't know if we should say names. Should we say names? Maybe first names are fine?
Yeah,
right?
well, let's make up nicknames for all of them.
All right, this one is from listener Chazzy. I think you know who you are.
Jazzy Chazzy.
Yes.
She's a DJ.
She is. That's ridiculous. She says that her irrational fear is that somebody lives in her attic, and she knows nobody does because she has checked multiple times.
You know what, though? I've heard stories.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. It
has happened.
That's so scary and crazy
I know.
to think about, that somebody's like, I'm sure that's unoccupied and they'll never know I'm up there. And if they hear it, they probably think it's squirrels.
Yes. I'm sorry, Jazzy Chaz, but I've heard stories of No, I'm not even going to say. Bad things have happened to people, and investigations have happened.
I want to look this
And you
up.
find out later that somebody has been living in the house.
Oh my gosh, way to feed that fear, but I am intrigued.
It is very intriguing.
Tickle me intrigued. Color me intrigued.
It tickled
It tickled my fancy.
Yeah, your fancy.
My fancy.
Your fancy bone.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite that you've read?
Okay, well, some of these that I really love are rather serious and I relate to them, like fearing not existing. And I don't know if that fully falls into the category of irrational. But we talked about it, and it is irrational in the sense that if you didn't exist, you wouldn't know you didn't exist.
Right.
And you're the only person in the world. This is all, like I said, it's imaginary.
I think you have...
Maybe that's my issue.
That might be.
Yeah, but then I sort of enjoy it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You get to make up your own life, which you kind of get to.
Yeah, that's sort of what this is all about. One person, I'm just going after the more serious ones, but...
I like the funnies.
I'm trying to come up with a name for this one. JEB says that he is afraid of finishing things.
Oh, yeah. I am not, okay, I guess you could maybe say that I fear that and I don't realize it because I never finish anything. If I get intrigued with something, I have to do it, but then I just suddenly quit. Like when I feel like I've done enough, I quit. And I have so many unfinished projects. So maybe I have a fear that I don't realize.
I think that for me, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but for me it goes back to perfectionism. It goes back to if it's unfinished, then maybe at some point you can do it perfectly.
Yeah.
Whereas if you finish it, then you have to look at the finished product and it's going to be flawed.
Also, it's a little, like when you finish something,
it's over.
It's over.
That too.
Yeah, and that's what kind of bums me out.
I don't like to finish books that I love for that reason.
Same. And finishing like a movies or a series on a TV series is like so...
That's a common one. I think it breaks people's hearts.
Yep.
We have kiwi fruit here and a person claiming that it is the fruit version of Muppets. She says it's slimy and furry and seeded.
It is a little weird, but it is so weird. Delicious.
Yes.
Z-Man. I love what he says. Oh man, okay, get ready. People tell me this is irrational, but I'm super serial about it. I don't like people touching my belly button because I'm legit afraid my guts will come out.
That is amazing. And I also kind of wonder how often people try to touch his belly button.
Oh, just because of it. If you have to be careful who you tell that kind of thing to, because there are people who...
Yeah, if your friends are that type of person, I mean, he shouldn't have told me. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, for sure. And I have a feeling that he would understand, because I have a feeling that he would be the type of person that would go after the belly button if he knew that sort of thing. So
I think so. The question also is, when do you try to overcome a fear? For instance, I know that in psychology they do something called exposure therapy. I've heard of it, where like people who have a really strong fear of germs from obsessive compulsive disorder, they will learn to touch a toilet seat just to see that nothing is going to happen to them.
Yeah.
So with this Z-Man, should he start by like allowing someone to poke his belly button with like a long stick? And then,
I feel like that'd be more frightening.
Yeah.
Like far off range.
Or should he, what should he do?
I think that he should start with something really soft, like a feather.
Like a teddy bear. Okay.
Or a teddy bear.
No, I guess you can poke with a feather better than you can with a teddy
You
bear.
just like kind of graze it.
Yeah.
And then next would be something like a sock.
But see, at that point, your guts are already all over the floor.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
The feathers made it.
Yeah.
I like this. I don't have any irrational fears, but the phrase vegan leather makes me irrationally angry. And that was from Bethy Poo. And I think irrational anger could be a whole other topic too, because I have them.
I do too. When my headphones accidentally get ripped out of my ears, I am ready to attack the nearest whatever.
Anything.
I will put my fist through a wall.
I cannot handle it if I accidentally get like punched in the nose or the head. Even if I do it to myself, putting on a shirt. Especially that. And then like my son today, coming home from school, he went to wrap his arm around the seat for some reason, and he straight up punched me in my cheek. And I would never showed him that I was mad, but I was just like, oh.
But it brings something out of you. Yeah, when my son he has a lovey. It's just a weird green pillow that he loves.
I love it.
And sometimes he'll put it in my face, and it just freaks me out so bad.
Oh.
Even if it's actually not even touching my face.
And a pillow coming at your face is frightening.
It is.
Especially when you really like true crime. Just the first thing that goes.
That's not the way I want to go.
No way.
I'm looking at Miss HH. And she says that this one is very interesting and sad. Wow, why do I keep bringing up the serious ones? I have a friend that a fear that deep down my friends actually hate me.
Oh, I hate that for her. Because I guess we all kind of worry that maybe we're not loved, or like that. I don't know. I've just never really had a feeling. I guess the friends that I have, I know. Yeah. I know that they don't hate me.
You do.
Until now.
Yeah, it's like, but it is like this primal thing of like being afraid of being left out from the pack or something. It is a terrible thought.
It really is.
And I have to say that I have a really, and you know what? Now my friends are going to hate me after they hear this. But I always assume people like me. Isn't that messed up?
No. I mean, I guess it kind of is the same as what I just said. I've never felt like really, I mean, if they don't like me, I can tell, and then I'm just not.
Then you're just like, I'm over it because everyone else loves me.
Yeah, I don't need you.
Exactly.
So we're getting close to 20 minutes, which we said that we would stop at 20, and I think that we ought to end with there's so many good ones. Like, we could just keep going.
I'm just going to say cotton balls.
That was what I was going to end with.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No, go.
I was going to throw hippos out there, too.
Hippos are, I freaking love hippos, but I can understand why you're scared of them. They're like the deadliest animal, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are. They're vicious.
So vicious.
Gigantic.
Gigantic. Have you ever seen one just eat a watermelon? Like,
oh, no.
It's so cool to see. Have you ever seen one toot?
No.
Their little tails go.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like a fan. I love it.
How can something that toots so adorably be so deadly?
And the little slimy babies. I just love them.
Oh, see, and then we teach children to love them with those hungry, hungry hippo games.
Yeah.
Guys, they don't eat marbles.
Freaky, though.
Yeah.
I always was freaked out by that game. And
I was
love
afraid it was going to take my fingers.
It could. And it's so loud.
It is. Parents hate it. It's probably one of the most hated, reviled games in the history of kids' games.
You know what was a really fun one, though? Did you ever have, I think it was Break the Ice?
Yes.
Where there's like that tissue and you put the wet marbles on. Oh, I love that game.
We need to play it.
We should.
If anyone has it, please let us know.
Yeah, we'd love that.
We'll do a live cast where we play it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, so cotton balls, baby.
The mother of all.
The mother of
irrational
all
fears.
Irrational fears is cotton balls, and it's one of my dearest friends. Let's call her a man.
A man.
A man.
A man, not a man.
No, she's not.
No, she's beautiful.
She is beautiful. And she irrationally fears cotton balls, and she really does. I have witnessed it. It's something about the texture and the sound that it makes when they. That sound when you pull it apart.
It does kind of squeak.
Kind of makes
I don't know if she's
sound.
going to be able to handle listening to this.
I don't even know what else, but a man, can you elaborate a little bit on your cotton ball fear? Because we all want to know. Mm-hmm. We love you no less.
I want to know about it. And I want to know how we can all help each other.
I know.
Like maybe a man can put a cotton ball in Z Dog's belly button.
All while riding a hippo into
what you think.
Space and gravity gives up on us.
Yeah, and all the kiwi just floats away.
Into my mouth.
Man, what if I went into a public restroom and there was a hippo? It just like came up out of the toilet.
What if you went into a public restroom and every door that you opened was a different Muppet sitting in the pot?
No. I'm going to need a drink now.
Yeah. I think we all do after this one.
So guys, tell us.
What's your irrational fear?
Yeah, we want to know more. And we also want to know, at what point do you accept yourself with your irrational fears? Or at what point do you try to overcome them?
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of how much it interferes with your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, cotton balls probably wouldn't be you probably can get through your daily life without.
Maybe just like use Q-tips and then you get just a little shiver of terror.
Could you imagine though shoving that in your ear if you're afraid of cotton?
No.
Ooh.
I can't imagine that.
No.
I shouldn't even try. I shouldn't presume.
No.
But I do believe, for instance, I'm afraid of worms, which is not that unusual.
Would you hug a worm?
I wouldn't. No, I would lose my mind. And I've been chased with worms by small children.
Have you ever been chased with worms by an adult woman named Melodie?
Not yet, but I'm afraid from the look on your face.
You should be.
And my son Ransom is afraid of oak leaves.
Mm-hmm. He's afraid of different kind of leaves.
He's been that way since as long as I can remember. He says they look like monsters.
Mm-hmm. It's intriguing to me. I love it about him, and I like to test which leaf. You know, I'll show him leaves. Is this one frightening? And I actually have a big giant aloe vera plant, right as you walk into my home, and I remember came up to it once, and I figured he would be very frightened of it because it looks very scary. Yeah. But I showed him that it was very soft, and he touched it, and he was like, it looks scary, but it doesn't scare me. And I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, he's trying.
And I was proud of him for even touching it. Yeah.
That's one where I feel that if he can overcome it, it would be a good thing because it gives people a lot of power over him.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll even cross to the other side of the street if there's a tree that he doesn't like the looks of and he's afraid.
Him.
I know.
I love him so much. I realized last night that my son, Mac, it's not really a fear, but it's like you couldn't pay him enough or give him enough, I don't know, basketball cards to get him to go even near a porta potty.
I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, the word makes him go, and it's because quote, Mom, there's nowhere to wash your hands afterwards.
I love that boy.
Me too.
That is a boy after my own heart.
Me too. I was like, man, I'm so proud of you.
That's a good fear. Don't ever
lose it.
One.
No way. But don't be too afraid of germs.
That's true. And, luckily you're a boy and you don't really need to use porta potties if you can find
true.
A wooded area nearby.
Unless you need to take a little doo-doo.
Yes.
And
on that note, thank you for joining us for this little doo-doo. And we love you. And we want to hear what you want us to talk about next.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Later days.